Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Now, every so often, Danger Dolan and I get together to discuss something World of Warcrafty, because you've got, many fingers in many pies nowadays. And so
Cool, but
we thought we'd get our heads together and discuss so far what we think of the Legion Alpha. So what have you actually managed to do so far in it?
yeah, I've streamed Legion Alpha a couple of times. I have done the intro experience for Warriors, DKs a little bit,
Hmm.
and I did Survival Hunter.
Hmm.
I leveled a little bit in Stormheim. Apart from that, I'm not really sure. I didn't get a chance to do any of the those kind of garrison-y missions because they hadn't been implemented at the time, so can't really say much about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and also the intro experience when you first get the Broken Isles wasn't in yet. It was just the class quest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we kind of entered the alpha in a slightly different time frame than what we're going to be doing on live servers, because we haven't had the 40-person scenario to go through yet.
It's
And
it's very kind of bare bones first impression kind of thing
yeah,
from
yeah,
what's up so far.
yeah. But one of the good things is because Dalaran is moving from Crystal Song Woods over to the Broken Isles, even the zones that we can't venture in yet, you can actually get a decent little look of them from from Dalaran itself. You just go over to the edge and you can pop your head out and see things like Azuna and Suramar, and also where the Tomb of Sargeras is. You got all that area which they've just recently, on the latest patch a couple of days ago, blocked off. Boo hiss.
Hmm.
But aesthetically, how are you? How do you find it?
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous to look at.
Mm.
The especially the warrior class hall thing, the Valhalla, whatever you call it. That
Yeah,
was
Halls of
fucking
Valor.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dungeon. It's
Well, it is the
those kind of
dungeon.
aesthetics. Yeah,
That
exactly.
is. I
That's
mean, it's
exactly like
actually
that.
that is the start of the Hall of Valor's dungeon, from what I can remember.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So every
Mm.
time you go back to your class hall, you're surrounded by like clouds and light and like all these legendary warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Odin looks great.
whereas, yeah, absolutely. Huge, huge dude.
Huge with his
Uh,
fire beard.
exactly. Best kind of beard, man.
Yeah.
And let's see. I can't even remember. I think the Survival Hunter one isn't that in Stormheim? I don't know if you've done the
I've
Hunter
done
one
the
yet.
Survival Hunter one. Yeah. Yes, you start off getting your artifact weapon
Hmm.
in Stormheim, in a bit of a ghostly area, don't you? You go on a hunt for some mythical panther. And
Yeah, right. Yeah, and yeah, it's like disappearing and it chases you
yeah,
and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That one.
yeah, I actually rather enjoyed the Survival Hunter. I was quite surprised. It took a little getting used to, of course, because suddenly you're going from a ranged class
Yeah.
to it becoming melee.
You just
Uh,
feel like a noob, like you don't know how to use a hunter
yeah.
just for the first like, 20 minutes or so. Like you're just expecting someone to jump out and be like, "Oh, look at this idiot! Look at this idiot with his axe next to his wolf."
You're trying to work out organically where this rotation should come from. You can like,
Yeah, exactly.
what should I be hitting here? What should I be hitting there? But it's got some great little mechanics. A couple of classes have got this though, where you harpoon your target and you jump to the target on the
Yeah, it's
harpoon. It's
like
like,
it's a life grip,
yeah,
like a priest life grip. It's
yeah.
exactly like that. The first time I used it, someone in stream chat said, "Oh, you can use your harpoon and like it takes you to the enemy." And I was like, "Yeah, bullshit. Hunters can't do that." And then I did it, and it didn't work. And I was like, "Yeah,
Oh.
you just fucking yanking my chain." And then I did it on like another mob, and it worked. And I was like, "Well, derp, 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 derp."
Yeah, there
Yeah,
she
it works. It
blows.
works great. It was great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like.
liked it. I really did enjoy it, actually. Survival Hunter is something I'd like to try a little bit more. Do you play any Demon Hunter? Have you tested out the new class, Demon Hunter?
So I played Demon Hunter at BlizzCon, and when
Mm,
they brought out the initial alpha build,
yeah.
that was essentially they just took the BlizzCon build and just whacked it onto the PTR servers.
Mm,
So I just played through it again. Unfortunately, I didn't get past that point because the final quest was broken. I don't know if
Ah,
they fixed it, where
yeah.
I couldn't get to my class hall or anything or get my artifact. So that meant that I would have had to level up my demon hunter, like a fresh demon hunter, and I couldn't
Hmm.
be bothered because I already done it twice. So
Yeah.
I haven't done anything past that. But the starter area is really cool.
Yeah.
Reminds me of
Mardoom.
what yeah, my Doom reminds me of Netherstorm a little bit. Just how you have all the floating shit. This is like
Yeah,
a
I see
kind of
where you're coming from. Yeah, it's because
yeah,
Netherstorm's like an absolutely ravaged
yeah. It's ripped apart,
Farallon. Yeah,
and
Farallon that's been dipped into the Nether. It's kind of half in the Nether, half out of the Nether, and that's why you've got these storms going on around the place. And
mm,
yeah, it's Mardoom's kind of similar. I was really intrigued with Mardoom about the view because of course right by where you are leveling up the demon hunter to start with, you've got a huge planet.
mm,
And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Endor. It kind of looked like just like green. It looked like it was like a huge forest planet or something. And then
mm.
there's a couple of smaller planets nearby. And as you may or may not know, but we all kind of know that the legions sort of go from planet to planet, blowing stuff up. And I was kind of like, so what's your story then? What's the planet of this story? Why is this planet still around? Why aren't we literally just floating on an asteroid? And it could be just as simple an answer as they wanted something aesthetically to break up the space or something like that. But it just kind of made me think, God, this could go off into little other stories. But yeah, they fixed all the starting area in Mardoom, and I completed the final quest and went on over to Dalaran with my Demon Hunter, and then did the artifact quest line, which I did enjoy. Have you played with the artifact weapons at all? Any of the artifact weapons, trying to level them up?
I think I got the Hunter one, and I just yeah the only things I noticed different apart from it just being a powerful weapon is that yeah you can customize it with some. I thought it was just a thing where it just levels up automatically, but you have to customize it with some kind of gem or something,
Yeah,
and you
relics.
put that in, and some of the talents have, I call them talents. It's actually like talents, like extra bonuses.
Yeah.
Some of them are kind of boring with just like stat increases, but some of them are actually like game changes, and
Mm.
it just means yeah you can't put down the axe or sword or whatever it is.
Mm.
But yeah, I didn't unlock when I was playing the alpha. It was so broken for some of the classes like Death Knight. Couldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
When I went to what's that place with Karazhan, that Deadwind Pass.
Yeah.
Whenever I went there, it just crashed the game for me. So I didn't get very far with any other artifacts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The gems, the relics that you're referring to,
Mm.
yeah, they've actually proven to be pretty cool, because they add physical item level to your artifact weapon. So
Mm.
your artifact weapon starts at 750, and then if you get a relic, it could be a fell relic, shadow relic, fire relic, and it has it would say plus 20 item levels, and then it'll also say plus 1 to an ability as well. So
Mm.
you put that relic in, you're right, your artifact weapon would go from 570 to from 550 to 750 to 770 because
Mm.
the increase of the 20 levels, and then whatever point was referred to on the relic would be added to the traits. So it could be a
Mm.
trait that you're not even working towards on the other side of the artifact weapon, and suddenly you just get a point in there for free. Or if it's a trait that you have been working on, if it has a maximum of 3 points, it will add a fourth. And it will
Mm.
go up a fourth point and get a further, buff or whatever it is. So I've actually been relatively happy with the way that the artifact weapons are working so far. I do know that when you hit 110, it's going to open up a third relic slot. There's only 2 when you're leveling up, and then 110 you'll open up a third one, which is that's just a boost all round.
Mm. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's very similar to how talents work and like gems work and that kind of enhancement. But it is pretty cool that it increases your item level.
Hmm.
But yeah, so you're finding the system pretty cool.
Well, it's essentially a throwback to the old talent trees.
Mm.
isn't it? It's
Ah,
just
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
Yeah,
an
it's
old
kind of
talent
choose
tree
your
that's
path kind
been
of thing.
shaped into a weapon.
Yeah.
But it's nice to kind of have that because we haven't lost the new talent system that we have. It's like an addition to it, so it's a kind of best of both worlds. So yeah, so far so good. I mean, we can only go up to a maximum of 104 in the alpha at the moment, so we can't evolve the artifact yet. So we
Mm.
can't make it change its appearance or color or stuff like that. So we all have the entry level looks with our artifacts right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Any other
so
classes that have really kind of piqued your interest?
I was just gonna say that
Hmm.
I think some of the artifacts are a lot cooler than others. Some of them are just like the lamest things ever, and the other ones they just have all kinds of particle effects. It's like crazy bullshit,
Yeah.
awesome. Like Paladins is just Ashbringer and it's all kinds of it's basically like fan fiction with Ashbringer. It's great. And yeah, I think the Hunter one is Eagle Spear, I think, which is alright. It's not too bad, but it's nothing on the Ashbringer or the Frostmourne kind of spin-offs.
Yeah.
So any yeah.
I think Doom. I mean, Doomhammer's going to look incredible when that eventually comes in,
Yeah,
because that's going to look
yeah, true.
like Thrall's version of Doomhammer from what we can see. So that's going to look pretty spectacular. But yeah, one of the very first things I did was jump on the Paladin and get the Ashbringer. It's just like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to do that? Yeah, that is just like fanboy stuff through and through, and you can't help it. But yeah, I mean, I did the Shadow Priest, and I got the dagger, and I was kind of like, eh, you know,
I know, right?
dagger. Eh. Even though I got like a book with it, I was sort of like cool at first, and then you sort of, let the adrenaline wear off, and then you're like, yeah. But I mean, the Warlock, the Affliction Warlock's pretty darn cool because it has this wicked looking scythe. I don't think scythes are really excellent looking weapons. And Demonology is not available yet, and that's going to be a skull. The weapon is
Oh.
actually going to be a skull, so that's going to be really cool. The kind of how that's going to operate, because there isn't a skull weapon in the game. It's going to be how do they even categorize that?
Oh yeah, it's the Skull of Minari. It's like a
Hmm.
floating. It floats. I think I can't tell because of this preview. But it looks like it floats either in front of you or to the side of you.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome, man.
yeah, yeah, and because Demonology is undergoing such a huge change because they're taking Metamorphosis away from them because it lore-wise goes really to demon hunters and such, and I'm okay with that. They're really changing how Demonology is going to work. You're going to be literally a master of demons, summoning multiple demons in, buffing them. You're almost kind of marshalling them as opposed to doing humongous amounts of fighting by the looks of it. But
Mm.
yeah, just how they would channel the spells, whether or not they would channel through the skull, or whether or not the skull will actually spew out the spell, or just float there, looking like a mag from Fantasy Star or something, I don't know. But yeah, there are some really cool ones. There are a few. Eh.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you were asking about different classes. As I said, the only ones I played were Warrior because that's the one I play on live.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to switch over to Demon Hunter. Really enjoying the mobility of Demon Hunters more than anything
Yes.
else. Just they call it double jump, but it's triple jump. It's
It's
like
triple jump.
last jump is like a big
Yeah.
glide.
It's triple jump
Uh,
with unlimited glide.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great. So I'm definitely gonna go with that one. Pretty sure I'm gonna go DPS because being a tank in a raid is like not good for me because I can barely make raid times anyway. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to like hold anyone back. But I do like playing tanks. So for maybe for like dungeons, I know they've got the new dungeon system where it's basically like an alternate progression, which I'm really excited about.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the Demon Hunter has been so attractive for me, and I've played a Warlock for 8.5 years, but I can't put the Demon Hunter down on the alpha right now. And it is the mobility. I mean, the actual rotation is a little bit dull, because it really is when you're just fighting mobs out in the world and you're not in a dungeon or in a raid. You don't really have to set yourself to a specific rotation. So all you're doing is using your one button to generate your demonic fury and your two button to dump it. And
Mm.
if you've got a big group together, then you just stun them and I beam them. So the actual rotation is a little bit flat at the moment. It could definitely do with maybe an additional spell kind of going in there naturally, or some sort of interesting proc which could happen just to switch things up. But you know, there's a lot of traits with the Demon Hunter which you've still got to unlock because you unlock them every 2 levels, and that could add that little extra depth that we're looking for at the minute. But the mobility is so... that is the attraction, is the ridiculous mobility.
Yeah, they definitely haven't finished the talents. Like they all say coming soon. At least
Yeah.
last time I looked at them, and that was pretty recently. So we
They
definitely
have
still have to
fleshed
wait
them
to
out apart
see.
from 2 now.
Yeah. So when I looked at BlizzCon, there were only about 3 talents.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, they're pretty much all fixed now. So it's looking good.
Yeah, so there is some really cool stuff. That's like, I think the 110 talent, one of them is you summon a couple of accolades to fight with you.
Nice.
So that sounds pretty damn funky, how that could work out. Any so just warrior and demon hunter really, and the bit of death knight.
Yeah. I actually surprisingly dug the melee hunter. I have stayed away from hunters for a long time because I used to be a hunter back in Burning Crusade, and I was really bad at it. But it was easy to level as a hunter, and that's why I could actually get to endgame. But ever since then, I just wanted to try other things. But yeah, no, the survival hunter feels completely different from just how hunters have been for a long time.
Yeah.
So
I wonder
that's
how the
definitely
hunter
one to be one
community is
play.
going to react to that.
Probably positively. I mean, it's got 3 specs that are very similar. This is like the one that stands out. It's like finally something like, a breath of fresh air. So
I mean, that's what I think. I think it's a very bold move by Blizzard, suddenly taking a range class and turning it into a melee class. And we, if you know anything about World of Warcraft in days gone by, we used to have main weapons and then we used to have side weapons. And Hunter used to have a main weapon of a range, and then it would have a side weapon of a polearm. So it used to have a mixture of... there used to be a little bit of melee in a Hunter, so it's not as if it's complete and utterly new.
Yeah, of course. They're just fleshing it out.
Yeah, it's kind of fleshing that out and giving it its own spec, and I really like it. I really like that idea, and hopefully the Hunter community will give it a chance at least. That's all you can really ask for them. It'd be horrible if on day one you were just getting people going.
Well, you can now actually use Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite and not feel like an idiot.
Yeah,
because they're actually useful now.
because they're your
But at least
core abilities, really. Yeah.
I don't know if both of them are still in, but I know at least one of them was in because I was clicking it.
Oh, they both are.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was clicking at least one of them, and I was like, wow. I remember doing this back in the day, and someone was like, "Do you seriously just do this?" I'm like, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Mongoose Bite is like critical to survival hunters.
Yeah.
It's like your
Part of
critical
your main rotation.
ability. That's the one that gives you like your damage buffers and such. So yeah, that's the one. And then Raptor Strike can come in there, or you've got a couple of others that can come in there. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I played it on a gnome as well. Gnome Hunters FTW. This little gnome hunter that was running around with these Tauren warriors from your order hall telling you what to do, and they was like dropping, and you're just like, I'm just a tiny hunter. Just a tiny hunter trying to make my way in the world with my polearm. Have you played any dungeons? Managed to get into any dungeons or not?
No, I haven't actually. I know I saw Fat Boss did a couple of videos on the dungeons, but I didn't even get a chance to watch those. I am really interested to see them though, and I really want to see that new progression path because that's it sounds like something that'd be perfect for me because making time for raids is a nightmare, but being able to just endlessly try and climb the ranks in dungeons sounds really really awesome. So I definitely want to give that a try soon.
But that's going to be the end game stuff. We tested out. I tested out Blackrook Hold and completed that. I did that with Towley actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Towley was the tank when I did that. That was rather cool. It was on his birthday stream, so I felt very honoured to have done that with him. And then I did part of the Hall of Valors, Hall of Valor, and I think we all got booted after the second boss or something.
Yeah, it's the problem with Alpha and Beta.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame, but I haven't managed to get back into that. But that was wonderful, because you started off in what was essentially the warrior order hall, And then you went through this portal, and it just took you to this gorgeous open field area, and it really kind of gave those Elysian Fields vibe to the dungeon. And yeah, it'd be cool where that was to go. And that's only 2. I thought there were going to be 10, but there's only 9 showing on the alpha at the moment. I thought they said there was going to be 5 leveling up and then 5 end game ones, but we've only seen 9. So I hope we haven't lost a dungeon.
We're talking about Blizzard here. Like, if there's going to be anything cut, it's going to be now before the before live release.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just wait and see. But I mean, dungeons I've never been too, well, not never, but lately I haven't been too concerned about them cutting those because they just have not been a crucial part of any expansion from, I think, the start of Cataclysm. Since then, they've just been like really easy to blaze through, and there's no point doing them after a little while. So that's all good. As long as they put in at least 9 or so, I'm cool with that.
I kind of get worried. I get very worried about the number of dungeons because they were so important in Burning Crusade. It was, I mean, it's crazy to think back now, but when I used to play in Burning Crusade and also Wrath of the Lich King, dungeons really were an integral part of the content, and they fitted in so well. And it didn't interfere with Outworld stuff, and it didn't interfere with raid stuff. It felt very organic. And then we suddenly had this decline from Cataclysm, not just with the number of dungeons, but the difficulty. And it was the difficulty which really kind of killed them off, really. So, yeah, I like the idea of... I really like the idea of this, sort of system coming in that people that don't want to get involved in raiding can utilize dungeons as their end game content and run it with their keystones and such. But I do fear for the number. It's just, the more that are out there, the more choice people have, and the less they'll get burnt out, because if you're always seeing the same few dungeons over and over, it just will increase the level of burnout for people. It's crazy that they don't understand this, but they'd rather kind of put their eggs into the unfortunately into the LFR bag, because it's just easier for them to use that as a mechanic to level people gear wise.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Could you, because I didn't see much about this, and I don't know if they're going to flesh out any more, but could you talk about the Legion invasion event thing that's happening in the old world? Do you think they're actually going to expand on that at all?
Well, I was just so happy to find it for a start, because I don't even know what possessed me to go out into the world and the other world and to head over to wetlands. I don't know why. But I was just flying from Ironforge and heading over wetlands, and I suddenly noticed these constructs in wetlands, and I thought, they're not there normally. And then I got closer, and I realised that there were these Legion citadels. And the best thing about kind of coming across wetlands first was the whole zone was just full of it. Because when I think of an invasion event, I was just thinking, a portal will open or something will open and we will fight them off, and after X amount of time of killing them, the portal will close and people will get loot. Or however it's going to operate. So to see this much more complex system in wetlands was really cool, because there were citadels to apparently attack. There were elite mobs to attack. There were relic hunters to attack. There were mini bosses walking around as well. And it seems as if there is going to be a kind of maybe a quest hub environment set up around it. Or they will either go down that route, or they'll kind of go down the Timeless Isle route and just say, look, go out there, and whatever you do, you'll come across chests. If you get involved in killing rare mobs, lieutenants, etc., they'll drop loots and stuff like that. So they can do it one of two ways here. But just the size of the event in wetlands was exciting to see. That there definitely looks like there's been a lot of effort, certainly thought-wise, put into making the transition from shit that is Warlords
Well, it
to
sounds
to
like
next expansion.
it sounds like they're going to give us a quest in our class hall, probably like maybe once a day or once a week or something that
Mm,
just says like Azeroth's getting fucked up, like go over there, fuck up some shit,
that'd be
find some
brilliant.
treasure and do some fun stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's good to get you back into some old zones.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's something I've
Nothing
been
wrong with
saying
that.
in recent videos. There's no, they have such a vast world that they need to utilize it. You know, it's great that they're opening up new areas. That's fantastic, but don't rely on that. You know, your other world, your other geographical areas, they can add value as well. So yeah, you want the bulk of the stuff at the new area, but send them back off. And I even think I said wetlands as an example in the video. This is like, you know, a couple of months ago or more, a few months ago. I was like, yeah, you know, send them over to wetlands, and then suddenly this wetlands is just this whole invasion area. Yeah, I think it works really well. If you know, what if you just turned up, or you got a mission to head off to the hinterlands because the citadel had appeared. Doesn't Not everything has to be massive, but just getting you out into different zones, current zones, is very good.
Hmm.
It's a very good
Nice.
way of making your Azeroth still feel relevant and not just little aspects. Even sending us over to Pandaria. Easy, Tiger. But no, but even even going saying, look, Valley of the Four Winds is being attacked by the Legion. Go and help them out. I would I would actually probably get a kick out of that, because
Hmm.
you're or North Rend or stuff like that. Yeah, I'd get a kick out of that. I'd think that was really, really cool, because not just Kalimdor or Eastern Kingdoms, you're still trying to engage the player to remind them that although Northrend and Pandaria are instanced, they are still part of Azeroth.
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope that they don't have to be the be all and end all, but if they're anything of the scope of wetlands, or if there's a couple of of those the size of wetlands scattered around, Kalimdor, then they could be really cool. They could definitely be cool and just break up being in the Broken Isles. No pun intended.
Do you, hang on, I lost my train of thought. Do you have any idea when this expansion is going to release? Just as like a little side thing.
Um,
Because
mm,
they're saying that they're going to close down the alpha and they're not going to bring it back until the new year.
yeah.
So do they need like 6 months after it opens up, like open beta?
Well, I mean, historically, when something goes into beta, it usually goes into beta for around 5 months.
Okay.
And that's just of testing, and then it stops, and then there's kind of like a 2, 3, 4 week period for organic release. So it's kind of is a 6 month period.
Hmm.
And we're still in Friends, and this is essentially the Friends and Family alpha
Yeah, yeah,
that we're
yeah.
in. So we're not even into the core testing yet. I mean, um, we only have 2 zones and 2 dungeons and some classes. We don't even have, Shaman hasn't even made its way into the game yet. Poor things.
Hmm.
Warlock only has 1 spec available. So does Priest. So does Hunter. Um, Death Knights have all 3 specs available. There's so much missing just as a natural kind of course for classes, never mind content, that,
Hmm.
yeah, I think going into New Year, it might go into beta in the new year. When it comes back, when it returns, I'm kind of glad that they're shutting it down over Christmas. I think it takes a lot of pressure off people
Absolutely.
to step away and enjoy time with the families and friends and stuff. And so I'm actually very appreciative of them doing that.
Well,
And
in
then,
saying that though, they're also bringing down Overwatch beta for like until mid-January, and I'm not happy about that because I need to play it. It's so fun. Ah, I need to play more of it. I am
I
so upset they took it
it kind
down.
of I half enjoyed it, half hated Overwatch. It's like
I loved it.
sometimes it was amazing, and sometimes you just wanted to pull your hair out. But yeah, that's by the by. But yeah, you know, I think it's good that we're getting some time away from it.
So that's the end of part 1, guys and girls, for this side of things. But if you go to the top link in the description down below, that's part 2 over on Danger Dolan's channel. So click it, check it out, and please subscribe when you're there. You take care. Bye-bye.